The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
Hello there and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit and I am joined by, it says here, the host of the musical history of Saturday Night Live and the former star of Pop Culture Time Capsule. It's Jeff Robbins.
Why am I the former star of Pop Culture Time Capsule?
Well, when was the last time we had a Pop Culture Time Capsule?
I don't know, but I heard rumors that you and the other guy are doing things behind my back, which I'm a little bit irritated about.
A lot of shady dealings between me and Mr. Anthony Danu, but...
Before we get started, I want to talk about I had a nightmare.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. I know where this is going.
And it was, I dreamt that you and Steve Sabaki were announcing football.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. This ongoing competition between you two. I like this. My co-hosts going after each other.
Yeah. It was scary, all right.
Jeff, we're going to talk about movies this week.
Oh, this is that show.
We saw movies in the theater. We saw movies at home. We didn't see movies at each other's houses.
This is not the cooking show.
Not yet.
Okay.
We're going to get cooking, though.
Okay.
With some movie talk.
I like that. Good segue.
I'm just saying, one of these days, I'm going to come over. We're going to watch a movie together.
We've never watched a movie together. Oh, we saw Nightmare Alley together.
We were within the same building.
You came and sat next to me.
Did I?
Yeah.
All right. See how much that affected me.
Let's put your hand in my popcorn tub.
Talk about what we have on the marquee this week. First off, we have a film called Breaking. This is not the 1984 breakdancing hit. This is instead a film from director Abi Damaris Corbin. It stars John Boyega as a man named Brian Brown Easley. This is based on a true story. Brian is a man who is struggling. The film opens rather ambiguously with him angry, but we're not sure why. He goes into a bank with a bomb and demands that the teller call the police. Odd thing to do when you're in a bank with a bomb, but he holds two female tellers hostage, but he is not there to rob the bank. He is there to demand some things. He demands a police negotiator. He demands news coverage of his situation as he gives his side of this situation, but we're really not sure what it is that he's so upset about. We know that he misses his daughter, that he has an ex-wife, and he seems to be suffering from a mental break of some sort. And he kind of alternates between being very manic and being very polite with his hostages that he's taken. But it's when he's put in touch with that police negotiator, a fellow Marine, played by Michael K. Williams, the late Michael K. Williams, that we start to get more details about his life. We see brief flashbacks to his time in war and find that his issue is money that he feels the VA stole from him. He's unhappy with his treatment, how he was discarded by them when he needed their help, and he's facing desperation, homelessness, and is irate over the thought of being lied to by anyone. And it kind of turns into a Dog Day Afternoon scenario, but in my opinion, Dog Day Afternoon, it is not. I felt one of the things that was lacking in this movie, Jeffrey, was I felt it was lacking some character development and making me understand the motivations behind these characters. I thought John Boyega was giving it all. I thought he gave a really good performance. I thought Michael K. Williams gave a nice performance.
Okay.
A nice farewell performance from him. But I felt like it kind of was a flat story. It should have been, it's a bank heist. It's within a story, not a heist. A hostage situation should be rising tensions. And I felt that there was just no build to the tension and no real character development for the characters. What did you think of this?
Well, I'm surprised that you say that you didn't understand the motivations behind the characters because we knew that he wanted this $892.
But that didn't come until really late in the movie, really. I mean, I want my money from the VA. Like, great, but what I'm more interested in is what's causing this mental break for him. And we just see a couple little flashes of his time in war and stuff, and we see his conversations with his daughter and his ex-wife, but I want more character development out of this guy. I want to understand the why as opposed to the what. And I felt like all we got was the what from him.
Well, we saw that scene with the I'm not even at the VA hospital or the VA, the Department of VA Affairs, and it was quite clear that they were kind of pushing him aside, like I think a lot of veterans feel pushed aside.
And that's kind of the main message of the movie is how the VA system kind of discards a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
But that was also not really dug into. It was really surface level, I thought.
It was. I would agree with that. There was a scene between that same character, who I think is only in 2 scenes in the movie, and I don't know if you mentioned Connie Britton, the
No, I didn't yet. No.
the
news lady.
the news lady who he speaks to. He clearly wants attention.
Right. Yeah.
That's a big reason why he's doing this. But there was a scene between the VA worker and Connie Britton that I thought gave an important some important plot information that was really just glossed over very, very quickly, which I found surprising.
Yes.
Because
that's what I'm saying. That should have been fleshed out more, I thought.
I think that should have been fleshed out a little bit more. But I agree with you that John Boyega's performance was really good. I mean, the point of this character is scared. He's more scared than the 2 women that he's taken hostage. Yes. He does not want to be in this situation. He just feels like he's got nowhere else to turn. And he's got a daughter that he obviously loves and wants to take care of. He's got an ex that it seems like they still have a good relationship with, but he doesn't have a lot of other connections, quite obviously, in his world, and he feels wronged by the VA, and he's at the end of his rope, and he doesn't want to be in this situation, but he doesn't know what else to do. So I think the tension that you apparently didn't find in the movie, I think we know early on, and the character says early on, like, I'm gonna die today.
Well, yeah, he repeats that many times.
Right, and I think we as the audience know that that's kind of the inevitability of this scenario. So I guess I found just how it was going to happen. I guess I found tension in that and interest in that. And of course, this is based on an article, I think.
It was a real story, yeah.
Yeah, it's a real story. But so anybody that's familiar with the story knows how it ends.
Right.
Unless they're going to kind of Hollywood it up and everybody is happy at the end. But that's, well, maybe I shouldn't give anything away. Maybe I just gave it away. But yeah, I thought Boyega was really arresting. I liked the fact that he was so polite. I mean, he
was almost off-putting at times.
He was
for
very
the tellers.
polite to the bank manager and the teller. And there, at one point, a woman calls on the phone and asks a question about his 401k. He's like, "Is Nicole there? I want to talk to her." Take a minute, write that down. But then at the end of the film, or towards the end of the film, he is breaking.
Yes.
Get the title of the film. And this woman calls back up, "Is Nicole there?" And then he just lets her have it.
Yeah.
So he's clearly breaking down. So another area of character development that I would agree with you on that I thought could have been made more of was the relationship between Michael K. Williams and the Jeffrey Donovan character.
Yes.
Because there was clearly tension and acrimony between those two. And I don't know if that's just a racial thing or if these two had a background.
It felt like there was, obviously, they'd been stepping on toes in the past. They didn't respect each other.
Or maybe Michael K. Williams, that character, the negotiator, the negotiator wanted to help this guy, or at least wanted to help him as much as he could, because he empathized with him. And the Jeffrey Donovan character was like, well, this guy's going to die. It's just a matter of when.
I think that's what I felt, yeah.
So I would have liked to see those two characters and that relationship maybe fleshed out a little bit.
All right. What did you end up giving Breaking?
I gave Breaking a whopping 3.5 stars.
Nice. Yeah, I gave it 3 stars, really based on those 2 performances more than anything else. I wish it would have had a little more of what I talked about, the tension, the development, but those performances were good, so enjoyable enough. Let's turn to what we have on the streaming spotlight this week, sir. We turn to Netflix for a film that you have for us. What do we got?
I really did want to watch Breaking.
You can watch Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, anytime.
Hey, we're going to talk about me time right now, Jameson. Do you like a little me time?
I love me time.
I get the impression you don't like to be alone much. You like to be the life of the party.
You don't know me then.
Well, fair enough. Let's talk about Me Time. Me Time is a comedy over there on the Netflix streaming service. It's written and directed by John Hamburg. Stars Kevin Hart as Sonny Fisher, Sonny is a stay-at-home dad to 2 kids who takes his role as a father very seriously. He's the PTA president, Jameson. He's the director of the kids' talent show at school. He's so wrapped up in his kids' lives that he doesn't want to take time for any kind of life outside of his family, and he doesn't really have any friends. Now, he used to have friends, as we find out in the opening scene of the film, kind of a flashback there, as we are introduced to the character of Huck Dembo. Huck Dembo, played by Mark Wahlberg. Huck is continually FaceTiming Sonny and trying to get him to hang out with him. Despite earlier vows to each other that they would always spend birthdays together, they haven't seen each other for at least 3 years. Well, Sonny's wife, played by Regina Hall, along with everybody at his kid's school, sees that Sonny needs some, what, Jameson?
Me time.
Me time. And he finally gets the chance for that time when she takes the kids on vacation over spring break. Sonny meets up with Huck Denbo, that's Huck Denbo, for his 44th birthday party, and all sorts of hilarity, or what is supposed to pass for hilarity, ensues. Now, Me Time is the kind of movie that wants to eat its spicy barbecue and have it too. It wants to be a wild, outrageous comedy full of poop and sex and drug jokes, but it also wants to be a warm and fuzzy movie about the importance of friends, family, and balancing work and home life. And unfortunately, as often happens when a movie wants to be a little bit of everything, it turns out to be not much of anything. Now, Me Time isn't totally devoid of laughs. There's a scene I think we saw a couple minutes ago with a mountain lion that I found kind of funny. And Kevin Hart, I think, does the best he can with the underbaked material he's given. Andrew Santino, as a colleague of Sonny's, is very funny as well, as a guy who debates whether or not he should go back to a Legoland vacation that he has abandoned to be part of Sonny's Me Time. And, of course, it's always a pleasure to see the great John Amos, who plays Sonny's father-in-law. But ultimately, the movie is neither funny or outrageous enough. And the last half an hour or so, when the movie tries to sell us on its message, is actually pretty dreadful. So for me, Jameson, Me Time, I found was a waste of my time.
Yeah, I had a lot of issues with this movie.
Well, let's talk about it. We got 8 minutes.
I'm really tired of these same roles for Kevin Hart, where he plays the wimpy guy, usually a husband who can't be honest with his wife, and lets small lies spiral into big lies, who screams all the time, tells lies.
Very manic.
It's kind of just his character. This movie and a lot of his movies recently have just relied on him to bring energy, but there's nothing else there for him. Just bring your Kevin Hart energy, and hopefully that'll translate a really mediocre script, and will be great. And Mark Wahlberg is very hit or miss. He's decent, I feel, in comedies where he brings his bro persona. I didn't really dig this duo. I didn't think it meshed. And then Regina Hall is saddled with being just the wet blanket wife.
Sure.
And I think it's really unfair to her. They give her nothing to do other than be a wife. It's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why am I the villain here? You know what? And it's
well, she's dragging Kevin Hart to these boring dinners, and she's working hard.
She's just an excuse for Sonny to blame everything on her and act crazy. And I don't know. This film spent a lot of time in the desert. Spent like the middle section. I felt like that was just to save some money on a set. We'll just put it out here in the desert, because we got to pay for some terrible CGI in this movie.
Oh, the opening scene where they were
just
that was
bad,
awful.
Bad stuff.
Incredibly bad.
You get a wacky house party in the final act that felt like it had been cobbled together from like discarded pages from other scripts.
Yeah.
Just we have a house party, and then I enjoyed a lot of the background characters, the friends, more than I did the main characters. Like you mentioned, the guy the Legoland guy.
Yeah, I thought he was funny.
Okay, they're funny, but I felt like this was just...
There was a scene where he was trying to program Kevin Hart's character into his phone, and he was like, what's your last name's Carter.
Yeah.
Washington
Jackson. You're just
saying black guys' last names.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I just thought it was really super formulaic, especially for these Netflix comedies that have been coming out over the last couple of years, where it feels like let's get one star. Let's get Melissa McCarthy. Let's get Kevin Hart. Let's get Ryan Reynolds. Let's get Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And we'll just write a really basic paint-by-numbers comedy, and hopefully the star power of the people we bring in carries this film to big numbers for 1 week, and then it's discarded. And that's what I felt Me Time basically was.
It sounded like you did. I enjoyed Kevin Hart in this movie. It sounds like you didn't much care for him.
I think he's just doing his usual shtick. I've seen this character in like 3 movies in a row now. I just want him to do something. I've seen him do other things, and I just want him to do something other than just be Kevin Hart yelling and screaming.
I guess I found him. I enjoyed his energy. I thought he was infectious a little bit. I thought Mark Wahlberg was a total stiff.
Well,
I just thought
that
there was just nothing there.
That's why I didn't think they worked together, the duo. I didn't
buy them.
I
as
didn't
friends.
see them as old friends. I didn't buy any of this.
Every time Mark Wahlberg came on the screen and started talking, I was thinking about Mark Wahlberg talks to animals.
Yes,
just that monotone sort of thing, like how you doing?
Yeah,
just
Say hello to your mother for me.
Say hello to your mother for me. Yeah.
It was it was a big miss for me, but
a big miss for you.
Big miss. What did you give me time here?
Well, we got 5 minutes left.
No,
so
we got plenty. Don't worry about
to talk
me.
About?
Don't worry.
All right. I gave Me Time a generous 2 stars.
Ooh, that is generous.
Wow. Okay.
That is in fact the score that I originally gave it before chewing it over some, putting my notes together, and deciding, well, that's just too much. So I give it 1.5 stars, 1.5 stars. Miss for me, and unfortunately, a lot of these Netflix comedies have been misses for me lately. I don't know. I feel like they have one writer and he just writes it all.
Nothing's worse than The Bubble.
They've got a Dan Schneider out there just writing the same movie over and over again.
I was irritated slightly at the beginning. We didn't even talk about his son wants to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And there's a good cameo. Did you like the cameo in the movie, the musical cameo? I don't want to spoil it.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay. The son wants to be a stand-up comedian, and he says, "Oh, I was watching Eddie Murphy Raw,"
right.
And then he quotes something that I know was from Eddie Murphy Delirious.
Delirious, exactly.
That bothered me.
Amen. I'm with you. You think Kevin Hart would nail that?
Yeah, you think.
All right, let's move on to what else we have on our streaming spotlight this week, where we turn to Amazon Prime for Samaritan. This is the new movie from Sylvester Stallone and his Balboa production agency. Directed by Julius Avery. Sylvester Stallone stars as a man named Joe. First, we talk about decades before this movie is set. 2 brothers, Samaritan and Nemesis, each with superpowers but opposing ideas on how to use them, are running around in this city. They have their final confrontation, which led to the destruction of both of them in a massive explosion. Now, all these years later, their shadows still hang over this city. One 13-year-old boy, Sam Cleary, played by Javon Wanna Walton, is obsessed with the idea that Samaritans survived that blast, and he has a thought that this reclusive garbage man who lives nearby him may be his hero. But he's not the only one who is looking for Samaritan. He has another adult, played by Martin Starr, who also has been tracking this, and he's obsessed with him. And there's also a local gang leader by the name of Cyrus, played by Pilu Asbeck.
Nice job with the pronunciation.
Thank you. Who is obsessed with Nemesis and replicating what Nemesis did. He's like the Kylo Ren. He gets the old mask. He gets the old hammer. He's like, I'm going to pick up your mantle, Nemesis. He cosplays as Nemesis, basically, with his little gang. Young Sam wants desperately to believe that old Joe is his fallen hero, following him around, spying on him. Joe is a rough, quiet loner who loves fixing broken electronics, but we get glimpses of his hidden strength. It's when Cyrus and his gang of toughs start messing with Sam and his mother that Joe reveals his power, including a penchant to overheat.
Yes.
So he has to eat a lot of ice cream.
Yes.
It felt to me, especially in the first half of this movie, that it really wanted to be Unbreakable, maybe The Crow. It felt a lot like those movies to me. And then at one point, it really becomes a bit of a My Bodyguard situation. Great movie.
Yeah, that is.
This is Sylvester Stallone's 4th superhero movie. I found as I was watching this, it started to dawn on me that Stallone really loves these roles. He loves playing, I think since Rocky V, he's really dug into this role of, I'm a guy who's secretly a real badass, but I'm living like a hobo.
Right.
And if I could take in a young kid under my wing, and then at some point I'm going to have to be the big protector and save somebody's life. He's done it in the last couple Rambo movies, like the last 3 Rocky movies. It's kind of his thing. I feel like he really digs that idea, especially now as he's getting older and all the bloating in his face is starting to come around.
Well, he looks pretty good for 76.
Yeah,
I
I mean, well, he's got all the HGH that The Rock doesn't have, but I don't know. I watched this movie a couple of times actually this week.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
Really doing your homework.
I
Digging
found
in.
that it was. I don't think it's a good movie,
Okay.
but I think it's enjoyably bad.
So does that get a worse rating for you or a better rating for you?
Well,
if
we'll
it's at least
find out.
Enjoyably bad.
We'll find out.
Okay.
I don't know. What did you think of Samaritan? I'm curious.
Well, I'll start with what I liked about Samaritan, and maybe somebody who sees more of these types of movies would disagree with this. I thought the movie looked good. I thought that Granite City, it looks sufficiently dark and
Looks lived in,
grimy
right?
and graffiti everywhere, and I thought I even took a note of the cinematographer David Ungaro.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, I thought he did a nice job, and
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
I like the look of the movie, and that interested me to a certain extent. I thought the acting in this movie was just god awful. I thought the kid was irritating.
Cyrus is really bad.
Cyrus was the whole gang was not the least bit terrifying. It's
They're the worst gang of street toughs. No one's afraid of these mediocre
Put some
tough
tattoos
guys.
on these kids, give them some dreadlocks or something, and
Yeah.
people will be scared of. They were not terrifying
I agree.
in the least bit. And then Sly Stallone, I'm always interested in what Sly's up to, but
I love Stallone.
He's just grunting a few words here and there. He's barely dead as a doornail, just that kind of thing. And it's
He has. I can't say the line because it reveals everything, but it's the big reveal line towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He has a line delivery that I rewound it like 4 times because it made me laugh out loud every time.
and you don't want that in this kind of movie. You don't want to be laughing out
No,
loud.
exactly. It's supposed to be a momentous moment.
Right.
And I was like, this is amazing. It's so bad.
Yeah. And the mom character, I mean, that's such a cliche.
Oh,
the single mom who's overrun by life and can't get anything straight.
Yeah.
And
She's behind on her bills.
Yeah, she's getting evicted. And the author, I think you mentioned him, the Martin Starr character. Now I love me some Martin Starr
Yeah.
from way back in the days of Freaks and Geeks.
Right.
He played Bill on Freaks and Geeks.
He was like 1 scene in this movie, 2 scenes maybe?
There was no point to his character at all. His character had written a book about Samaritan. Samaritan lives.
Yeah.
And the kid Joe goes, not Joe. What's the kid's
Sam.
name? Sam. Thank you. Sam goes to see him, and it's just a totally
And he's got the
pointless
classic,
character.
like pictures everywhere, the string going around. Like he's been tracking this situation for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, we're not going to come back to you.
Well, I thought he'd be kind of interesting. Yeah, we never got back to him, so I thought that was a total waste. These gang members have all these bombs, and I don't know where they got these bombs from. But these bombs, what they're
Do they
what
knock
they
out
do-
electronics?
Yeah.
That's it?
Well, because the parents who died at the beginning of the movie, which I don't know if you mentioned that, there's a lot of exposition in the
Yeah.
first couple minutes.
Yeah.
And then Nemesis and Samaritan, they died in like a power plant explosion.
Right.
So for some reason these villains are obsessed with knocking the power out of the city.
Yes,
and
that's what they want. They
then
want to
go
turn
looting,
the lights
They
off.
want to turn the lights on. So these bombs, I guess, just turn the lights out. And then during the finale of the film, you know that he can't die. You know that he can't get shot at.
That's my
and
wife
they
kept
keep
going, they just keep
shooting
shooting him.
They just keep shooting and shooting
They've
and
seen
shooting.
this multiple times. They've
Yeah.
gone up against him, and he just keeps walking into their bullets.
Yes. Why do they bother?
Get
What's
more
the-
guns.
Yeah, get more guns. So I didn't think it was terrible. I mean, I guess I didn't think it was good, but I don't think I thought it was so bad that it was fun. I don't want to see a sequel. I've heard rumors that there might be a sequel to
we
this
don't need
movie.
that.
We don't need that.
But there's nobody loves making sequels of his own films more than Stallone.
Of course.
He's working on Expendables 4 right now.
There you go.
I love Sly, and I don't care, and I forgive him for so many bad movies over his career.
Yeah.
I'll watch Oscar. Why not?
Yeah, I'm always interested to see what he's up to.
I enjoy him. I had fun with this movie.
Okay.
So it's not like so bad that it's good. I had fun. I recognize that it's not good.
Right.
There's so much. Also, the CGI in this movie was really bad. Like this fire, they de-aged Stallone in a couple of scenes and some flashbacks, and it's like Polar Express style CGI.
Yeah.
Like this is some dated stuff. We've
Yeah.
seen people get de-aged for a while now.
Yeah.
That looked bad. The explosions looked pretty fake.
I will say that even though this movie's on a streaming service, they rate these movies obviously, even though they're on a streaming service.
Yeah.
This movie's rated PG-13.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And I thought it was pretty. There wasn't a lot of blood and gore, but I thought it was pretty dark and pretty. There was a lot of violence.
I would have thought this would be an R.
Yeah, there was a lot of violence in it.
Yeah.
My wife, who walked in, thought it was pretty dark and disturbing.
It is disturbing.
Usually I'm watching Maude, so anything
exactly.
that's not
what
Maude
are you
is dark
doing?
and disturbing.
I don't like the influence that Jameson is on you.
Right, exactly.
All right, what did you end up giving Samaritan?
I believe I gave it what you gave me time. I gave it a 1.5.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I was slightly more entertained by it. I believe I gave it 2 stars.
Okay. If they had more,
I watched it twice, so I can't dog it too bad.
Yeah, I mean,
but it was more. The second time was more just kind of a fun watch. I put it on. I was doing some fantasy football stuff. I put it on. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh, we're coming to that part where he says his big line. Can't wait.
And you put down your draft sheet and
I called in
attention.
the kids. I said, watch this. So
Okay.
that's Samaritan over on your Amazon Prime
Amazon
service.
Prime. There you go.
Let's take a look at what is coming soon, though. We have a bunch of films that are coming out the weekend of September 9th. First one we have is a film called Petite Maman, which is on Hulu. It is a French film about an 8-year-old girl who is helping to clean out her recently deceased grandmother's house. She discovers a girl her own age building a treehouse, and apparently a sweet story unfolds from that. We also have, over on Disney Plus, a movie called Pinocchio. This is Robert Zemeckis' version of the Pinocchio story. Tells the familiar tale of Pinocchio. Stars Tom Hanks as Geppetto, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket. This is one of 2 Pinocchio films that are coming out this year. Guillermo del Toro has a much darker version coming out in December, but this will be over on Disney Plus. And Robert Zemeckis is very hit or miss for me.
Have you seen that trailer for the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey?
Yes, I have. Because Winnie the Pooh is public domain now, so
Right.
you can make a Winnie the Pooh movie.
You can make a Winnie the Pooh
And yeah,
porn movie or whatever.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. And apparently they are.
Apparently they have, yeah.
Over on Netflix, we have a film called End of the Road, which is an action flick about a cross-country road trip that becomes a highway to hell for one family alone in the New Mexico desert. Stars Queen Latifah, Ludacris, and Beau Bridges. What a cast.
Sign me up.
You bet. And then in theaters, we have a couple of films. First one is Medieval, stars Ben Foster as a 15th century Czech warlord who defeated hordes of armies from the Roman Empire. Also stars Michael Caine. That's my best Michael Caine.
He's still alive?
He's still doing. I thought he retired from movies.
Wow.
And then lastly, we have Barbarian in theaters, a horror film starring Bill Skarsgård and Georgina Campbell about a woman who arrives at an Airbnb only to find that another man is also checked in there. There's some confusion. He says, why don't you come in, stay the night, we can figure it out, have your own room. And he's got nefarious intentions about him. He might be a barbarian. Those are the films.
That's a lot of coming soon.
That are coming out September 9th. It's really hit or miss this month. It's feast or famine with movies, I feel like. But where can you find some of these movies? Well, I'll tell you. Over at our sponsor, Marcus Theaters, The Palace here in Sun Prairie. We want to thank them for sponsoring this program. We do enjoy it. I love a nice dream lounger to relax and watch a movie. Good, bad, or otherwise, it's nice to watch something in comfort. You agree?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
You waiting for me to say
No,
something?
I was just you're deep in thought. I like that. All right.
Can't argue with that.
Dream Loungers abound. And stay tuned for an episode later on this month because we might be back. It's been a while since we took the show on the road to the Palace, but I think it's about time we go back to the friendly confines.
It's overdue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
get you and Sabaki out there.
enjoy the theater experience. Next week, I've got some films to talk about. I'm going to be talking about the film 3,000 Years of Longing. That's George Miller's newest film. He hasn't done a movie since Mad Max Fury Road.
Wow.
We also have The Invitation, Honk for Jesus, starring Regina Hall. I'll get back-to-back weeks with Regina Hall. And I will be joined by Michael Selesky for that program, so do stay tuned. Mr. Robbins, I turn to you and say thank you once again for joining me.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure.
I'm here all the time. Just let me know when you need me.
All right. I will take you up on that. I know one lovely lady out there who says that Jeff Robbins is just my favorite. You have him on every week, I would be so happy.
God bless her.
You bet. All right. Until next week, though, I'm Jameson.
I'm Jeff.
Have a good one.